A government headline flashes across your feed. UFO Files Released. And instantly, most people hear one word in their head: aliens. But here's the twist. Most UFO releases don't reveal visitors. They reveal process, paper trails, missing data, black bars. So the real mystery isn't, what did they show us? It's, what did they carefully avoid showing? Welcome to Myth Xray. Tonight, we're going to do this the serious way. No hype, no fantasy. Just clean logic. You'll learn what files released usually means in real life, what's confirmed, what's claimed, what's disputed, and how to read every new UAP drop like an investigator. Because if 2026 brings more releases, one thing is guaranteed: the mystery won't end. It will evolve. Before jets, before satellites, before Ravat, people still looked up and reported things they couldn't explain. In ancient Rome, the historian Livy listed strange prodigies. People believe they witnessed. One line describes a pontum nabi shining in the sky. That's not alien proof. That's a record of human beings describing the unknown in their own Eris language. Jump forward to April 14, 1561. In Nuremberg, a famous illustrated broadsheet by Hans Glaser depicts a dramatic sky scene with shapes, cylinders, crosses described as a celestial phenomenon. Again, not proof of spacecraft, but a historical artifact showing how people reported strange sky events in that time. Then the late 1800s in America. Newspapers reported a wave of mysterious airships seen in the skies decades before modern aviation was normal for everyday people. Even institutions like the Smithsonian have pointed out how these reports often mirrored the technology and imagination of their era. Now here's the key point. All of that is pre-file era, human witness. Era. The file era starts when a modern government begins to log, classify, investigate, and archive these reports. And that fuse really catches fire in 1947. It starts with one pilot and 9 objects. On June 24, 1947, pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 unusual objects near Mount Rainier, a story that helped ignite America's flying saucer wave. And once the public catches fire, the system reacts. Reports start piling up. Phones ring. Military bases get calls. Then comes the name that became a legend factory: Roswell. Here's what we can say safely. In 1947, the military announced a recovery linked to the Roswell incident, and later explanations tied the debris to balloons, eventually including the Air Force's Project Mogul narrative in later historical explanations. Different sources still debate details and motives, but the official posture moved away from flying disc toward balloon-related explanations. But the bigger shift is this. By the late 1940s and early 1950s, UFO reports stop being just stories. They become case files. And in 1952, something happens that still makes people pause. Washington, D.C., July 1952. Radar returns. Sightings, enough pressure that fighter jets are scrambled, and it becomes national news. Now careful. People love using that moment as a slam dunk. But radar plus panic plus multiple interpretations equals messy. And messy is exactly what UAP history is made of. And that S, where the government's most famous UFO program steps in. Project Blue Book. From 1947 to 1969, the U.S. Air Force investigated UFO. This is one of the most misunderstood numbers in the entire UFO world. Out of 12,618 reports logged to Blue Book, 7 numbered 1 remained unidentified. Now here's the twist that changes everything. Unidentified does not mean alien. It often means not enough data, conflicting witnesses' descriptions, no way to recreate conditions, missing instrument logs, poor visibility, no clear resolution. That single word, unidentified, became fuel for decades of arguments. Because the public hears it like a verdict, but the government uses it like a folder label. And when Blue Book ends, people assume the story ends. It doesn't. It mutates. Fast forward into the modern era. The cases your audience Rendlesham Forest, 1980 in the UK. U.S. Air Force personnel reported strange lights and an incident that became known as Britain's Roswell. Phoenix Lights, 1997, in Arizona. Thousands reported a huge formation of lights. Official explanations later pointed to military flares. For at least part of what people saw, but witnesses still dispute whether that explains everything they observed. This case is a perfect example of why UAP stories split into two lanes. Official explanation versus public memory. Then comes the modern military reset. Nimitz, 2004. The Tic Tac encounter. The reason this one hit differently is simple. It wasn't just a rumor, people connected it to military personnel, training areas, and recorded material. And in 2020, the Department of Defense officially released 3 UAP videos, often referenced as FLIR 1, Gimbal, and GOF. But even here, another twist. A video can prove something was seen. It does not automatically prove what it was. That's the difference between evidence of an event and evidence of identity. Phoenix Lights, 1997, in Arizona. Thousands reported a huge formation of lights. Official explanations later pointed to military flares. For at least part of what people saw, with witnesses still dispute whether that explains everything they observed. This case is a perfect example of why UAP stories split into two lanes. Official explanation versus public memory. Then comes the modern military reset. Nimitz, 2004. The Tic Tac encounter. The reason this one hit differently is simple. It wasn't just a rumor, people connected it to military personnel, training areas, and recorded material. And in 2020, the Department of Defense officially released 3 UAP videos, often referenced as FLIR 1, Gimbal, and GOF. But even here, another twist. A video can prove something was seen. It does not automatically prove what it was. That's the difference between evidence of an event and evidence of identity. But the government version of disclosure usually looks like this. A slow pipeline, reviewed, filtered, declassified in pieces. And here's the part most people miss. There's already a formal structure driving UAP records into public view. Under the FY 202 for National Defense Authorization Act, the National Archives is required to establish an unidentified anomalous phenomena records collection. And on April 24, 2025, the National Archives announced it released new UAP-related records, with updates planned on a rolling basis. So when UFO Files Released, it often means more records are being accessioned. More pages appear, more items get acknowledged as reported. Not necessarily. We solved it. Now, what do official investigators say today? The Pentagon's AARO released a major historical review in March 2024. Reporting. No evidence that U.S. government investigations uncovered extraterrestrial technology or alien visitation, and it argues many sightings were misidentifications or ordinary phenomena, while some cases remain unresolved due to limited data. And in the FY 2024 Consolidated Annual Report covering May 1, 2023 to June 1, 2024, AARO states it received 757 reports in that period, with many unresolved due to lack of actionable sensor data, and it underscores that to date no evidence of extraterrestrial activity has been found. So here's the honest center of the story. Most releases expand the paper trail. They don't deliver a Hollywood conclusion. And now we hit the core question your audience actually cares about. If more UAP files are released in 2026, here's what we will likely get. Summaries and incident reports written in careful language. Emails and briefings meant to inform leadership. Statistics about cases logged, closed, and unresolved. And redactions protecting sources, methods, and capabilities. And sometimes, the most revealing thing is what's missing. Because if a release does not include raw sensor context, if it does not include multiple independent data sources, if it does not allow outside experts to test claims, then it can increase transparency and still leave the central mystery intact. It becomes disclosure of paperwork, not proof of visitors. And that's why the debate never ends. Not because the truth is impossible, but because the public gets the story without the engine. So here are the questions that actually matter when the next drop hits. Are these documents primary data? or summaries of summaries? Do we get raw sensor context or just written descriptions? Do multiple independent sources match radar, visuals, pilot reports? Are redactions hiding sensitive tech or hiding weak evidence? How many cases are unresolved simply because data is missing? And if something is truly extraordinary, why is the best evidence never public? So here's what's confirmed. Humans have reported strange sky events for centuries, recorded in historical texts and artifacts. The U.S. Air Force logged and investigated UFO reports for decades, and hundreds remained unidentified in that official system. The National Archives now has a legal framework and an official collection for UAP-related records. Modern UAP offices say many cases resolve to ordinary explanations, and they report no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial technology, while admitting some cases remain unresolved due to data gaps. And here's what's still unknown: whether any small set of cases represents something truly novel, whether bit of data would solve unresolved cases or dependem, whether secrecy is protecting national security or protecting embarrassment, or both. So when you say UFO Files Released, don't ask the easy question, is this aliens? Ask the real one. Did they release enough data to let the mystery die, or just enough paperwork to keep it alive? This is Myth Xray. We don't chase the loudest theory. We chase the cleanest evidence. If you want part 2, where we break down how to read new UAP drops line by line and spot recycled material, subscribe and turn notifications on, then comment, cover up, or confusion.